Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be walking you guys on how you could create an AWS account. We all know that an AWS account is nothing but a container where we're going to access AWS services. And when we access AWS services, we are actually going to be able to create AWS resources and manage those resources within the AWS service. So for me to create an AWS account, I'm pretty much just going to go to aws.amazon console. And you see it's gonna get me over here. You can see I'm gonna click over here, so I'm gonna share with you this link. So this is pretty much how we're going to access or create an AWS account. You can see we could sign up for an AWS account. Over here I'm just gonna click on create a free account, and when I click on create a free account, when you're creating an AWS account, it's going to ask you for an email address. The email address you're going to provide is the email that will be used to create a user called the root user. So over here, I'm just going to paste I'm just going to put my email in here. Then I can actually give my account name. I can simply just call this my Zashi Sandbox, or whatever name I want to give the account. That's just an alias that the account is actually going to come with. So the next thing is going to be for me to verify my email address. So I'm going to click on verify email address. Now, when that happens, I need to go to my email. And when I go to my email, I'm going to actually copy the code that was actually being sent. And as I copy the code, I'm just simply going to paste that code over here. So I'm going to paste the code over here on verification code, and I'll click on verify. You can see that the email address has been verified. So now I'm going to actually create a password for that root user. So the password, I'm just going to give it a password. And you see, I'm just going to click on the next step, which is continue. So over here, the next thing I'm actually going to do is I am actually going to choose, is it a business account or personal account? I'm going to go in for the personal account. Now, then I'm just simply going to put in my name, the person AWS is going to contact in case they need anything from me. So I'm just going to put in my name. So maybe I'll just go in my name, which is Junior. Then my phone number, I'm going to put in my phone number. So the next thing I'm going to do is pretty much putting my address. So I'm going to put in my address. I'm going to put in my city. I'm going to put in my state. I'm going to put in my postal code, and I'm going to agree to the terms, and I'll go to the next step, click on continue. And now I have to put in my debit card because AWS is going to need my card. That's pretty much where AWS is actually going to take out charges anytime that I use a service that needs to be charged. So I'm going to put in my credit card information in here. All right, when I do that, the next thing I'm going to do is to pretty much confirm my identity. So AWS will have to send me a text message. So I'm going to confirm my country, which is the United States, and then I'm going to confirm my phone number. Then I'm going to actually put in a security check code. I'm just going to follow what is here on the screen. I'm going to actually follow that and put the information in here. All right, the next thing is to actually check on my phone just to see if AWS has sent the information needed. So I'm going to check on my phone and pretty much put in the code from my phone that AWS sent. All right, that's verified. The next thing is actually choosing the support plan. So when you actually create an AWS account, every account is going to actually come with a support plan. Is it for a basic, developer, or business? So in this case, I'm going to go in for the basic support because it's free, and I want to just use this to try out services on AWS. So I'm going to actually continue with this. Now we can see the congratulations message. That simply means that the AWS account has been created. So the next thing I'm going to do is pretty much click over here where it says go to the AWS Management Console. So this is pretty much going to be the default page that we're going to use to log in. And you can see that when you are logging into an AWS account, you can log in two ways. You can pretty much log in as the root user. That's simply the user that gets created when you create your AWS account. We also know that the root user pretty much has super privilege on that AWS account. So the root user, you can be able to access every AWS service. You can do whatsoever thing on that AWS account. You can also be able to terminate that AWS account with the root user credentials. The other way of logging in to the AWS account is logging in as an IAM user. But we know that right now we do not have any IAM user. So let's try logging into the account with our root user. So I'm just going to paste in my email over here. I'll put in my email over here, the email I used to create that account. I'm going to go next. The next is going to be to pretty much just put in my password. That's the password I use when creating the account. I'm going to put in that password. And if everything goes well, I should be able to sign into my AWS account. Now you can see that I am signed into my AWS account. And this is simply how the AWS account actually looks like. In here, you could see a couple of different things. This is how the AWS default dashboard or the management console is going to look like. And you can see on the top right over here, I can see that account name. I gave the account a particular alias, and every account is going to have an account ID. And over here, you can simply see other aspects like accessing security credentials, billing dashboard, and all of that. So currently you can see the AWS default dashboard, and here you can see all the AWS different services, analytics services, compute services, container services, and everything. You can see them here. Now this search bar over here is pretty much where you want to search for a service. So let's say, for example, I want to go to a service called maybe I want to go to a service called billing. You can see I can go over here to the billing service, and I can actually come here to the billing service and set maybe a particular budget, right? So sometimes it's very important for us to set our budget limits so that AWS knows how much we want to actually be able to, how much we want to spend on our AWS account, so that anytime that amount is getting to that particular bill, we can get a notification from AWS. So you see over here, I'm on the billing dashboard, and I simply just got here by simply going here to billing. So I am over here on the billing dashboard, and on the billing dashboard, I can be able to set my billing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually come here to where it says budget. So I'm going to look for budget. You see over here, I'm going to click on budget. And when I click on budget, I'm going to click on create budget. And this budget is simply going to help me to be able to keep track of my spend. And anytime my expenditure is getting to this amount that I specify, AWS is going to send me a notification to alert me. So I can simply I can specify the kind of template I want to use. Is it the monthly cost or is it daily savings and all of that? So I'm going to go for the monthly cost. Now when I go in for the monthly cost, I'm just going to say my monthly cost limit. So I'm going to call it my monthly cost limit, and I am actually going to specify my budgeted amount. So how much do I want to spend maximum every month? I can say, okay, I want to spend maybe just $10 every month. You see, when I do that, I can now specify the email address where I want AWS to actually send a notification to anytime my expenses for the month are getting close to the $10. So I'm going to specify my email over here, and when I do that, I can simply just create the budget. So what AWS is going to do is anytime my expenses is getting towards $10 every month, it is actually going to send an email to the email address that I actually specified over there. So that's simply how you're going to create an AWS account, and that is how you're going to set up your budget limit, so that anytime that your expenses in that account for the month is getting towards that amount that you specified as your maximum budget, AWS should be able to send you a notification.